Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're going to be taking a closer look at the championship matchup between Sheffield Wednesday and Stoke City at Hillsborough on December 21st. And this prediction is brought to you by us at therealfl.co.uk.
Yeah, it's a match that, on the surface might look pretty straightforward. You've got Sheffield Wednesday sitting pretty comfortably in 7th place, Stoke fighting it out towards the bottom of the table, trying to avoid relegation. But if we really dig into the details, I think there's a more nuanced picture emerging.
Okay, so let's jump right in with your first prediction, under 2.5 goals. Now, on paper, both teams have shown that they can score goals, but you're predicting a low-scoring game. What's the thinking behind that?
Well, I think you got to look beyond just the basic, surface level stats. Both these sides, they've had moments of brilliance going forward, but I think their overall performance suggests it's probably going to be a pretty tight tactical battle. No. If you actually look at their records this season, both Sheffield Wednesday and Stoke City, they're averaging less than 2 goals scored A&D conceded per match this season.
Yeah, that's a really interesting statistic. It really does point to a focus on defense, maybe not so much a high-scoring goal fest. Do you have any specific examples to kind of back that up?
Yeah, absolutely. Both teams have only exceeded 3 goals, either scoring or conceding only 3 times this season. Sheffield Wednesday, for example, they've got a really solid defense. They can frustrate their opponents, Stoke, on the other hand, they've really struggled to find consistent goal-scoring threats outside of, their kind of one-star striker.
Right. So despite the fact that both these teams, they can score goals, it sounds like you're seeing this one as more of a chess match where every goal is going to be really hard fought.
Yeah, exactly. It's about recognizing, the tactical nuances, the defensive strengths that both these teams can bring to the table. So now let's move on to our second prediction, and we're looking at Tom Cannon to score anytime.
Tom Cannon, Stoke City's top scorer, definitely a player to watch. But what makes you so confident he's going to find the net against Sheffield Wednesday?
Well, his track record kind of speaks for itself, right? He's not only Stoke's leading scorer, but he's also the joint 5th highest scorer in the entire championship. And that consistency, combine that with his recent form, 3 goals in his last 7 championship appearances, the guy's a constant threat.
So it's not just about his overall, position in the league. It's also his recent performances that are making you think he's going to be a big factor in this game.
Yeah.
But can he really carry Stoke's attack all by himself?
Well, he certainly carries a lot of weight on his shoulders. Think about this. He's scored 5 more goals than any other Stoke player this season. Even against a good Sheffield Wednesday defense, they have his ability to create chances and find the back of the net. They can't ignore him.
That's a really good point. It sounds like Sheffield Wednesday's defense is going to have their hands full with him. Okay, so now on to your final and maybe your most surprising prediction, our draw. Why are you going for a stalemate here, despite, the gap between these two teams on the table?
Yeah, well, this is where the deep dive gets really interesting. Despite their strong overall form, Sheffield Wednesday have got a really peculiar weakness, their home record. They've drawn 4 out of their 11 matches at Hillsborough this season, which is a real contrast to their away form.
So they're almost like a completely different team when they play at Hillsborough. What's the evidence for this home field disadvantage?
Well, just look at their recent results. They haven't won their last 2 home matches. They lost to Blackburn and they drew with Preston. And you can see that they struggle to create those clear-cut chances and maintain that defensive solidity at home. It's definitely been apparent. And I think Stoke City will be looking to capitalize on that. They've shown that they can, grind out results with 7 draws already this season.
So you've got Sheffield Wednesday with their struggles at home, and you've got Stoke, who just seem to draw a lot of their games. That's a really interesting dynamic. Before we wrap things up, though, let's look at the head-to-head between these two teams. What does history tell us about this matchup?
Well, if we look at the historical record, it actually kind of supports the idea of a draw here. Since 2011, these two sides have played each other 10 times. 2 wins for Sheffield Wednesday, 3 for Stoke, and 5 of those matches have ended in draws.
Wow, so it's an incredibly even split. It seems like history doesn't give either side a clear advantage. Okay, so to kind of round things out, let's talk about recent form. How have these two teams been playing leading up to this match?
Well, Sheffield Wednesday, they're coming into this one on a bit of a high. They've only lost once in their last 5 matches. So, their momentum and confidence could definitely play a role. On the other hand, Stoke are winless in their last 7. So there's going to be a real sense of urgency, a real sense of desperation in their game.
So a clash of styles, Sheffield Wednesday on a roll, Stoke City, desperate for a win. Okay, let's get a little bit more tactical here. What are some of the key matchups or tactical approaches that you think will determine the outcome of this game?
I think one crucial aspect to watch is going to be how Sheffield Wednesday approach Stoke's main man, Tom Cannon. If they can find a way to neutralize him, I think they have a very good chance of stifling the Stoke attack. Whether that means, man-marking him or just, sitting deep and denying him space and opportunities, I think that's going to be really key.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And on the flip side, how do you think Stoke City might try to exploit Sheffield Wednesday's weaknesses, particularly at home?
We've noticed that Sheffield Wednesday at Hillsborough, they often struggle to keep possession of the ball, and they also struggle to create clear-cut chances in front of goal. So I think Stoke could really capitalize on that by, pressing them high up the pitch,
Yeah.
trying to force errors in the build-up play, trying to create those quick turnovers. Additionally, I think they could look to target Sheffield's defensive flanks. We've seen some vulnerabilities there in recent matches.
It sounds like there's going to be a really interesting tactical battle going on. Now let's move beyond formations and strategies and talk about the mental side of things. How do you think the psychological factors at play might influence the outcome?
The mental side of the game is often overlooked. But I think for Sheffield Wednesday, this match is a chance to kind of conquer their home demons, to prove to themselves and to everyone else that they can perform just as well at Hillsborough as they can on the road. A positive result here would be a massive confidence boost. And it could really set the tone for the rest of their season.
Okay, so what about Stoke City? What's at stake for them mentally?
Well, for Stoke, this is all about showing resilience, showing that fighting spirit. Despite their struggles, they still believe they can compete with the teams higher up the table. And, a positive result against Sheffield Wednesday could be the turning point they need. It could be the catalyst to get their season back on track.
So a really fascinating dynamic. You've got a confident Sheffield Wednesday side looking to establish their dominance at home. And you've got a determined Stoke City team who are desperate for a result. This match really has all the makings of a captivating encounter.
Yeah, it really does. And that's what makes the championship, so great. It's so unpredictable. Yes, Sheffield Wednesday might look like the favorites on paper, but Stoke have got the tools and the motivation to, cause an upset.
Exactly. It's those kind of unexpected twists and turns that make the championship so exciting to watch.
Yeah.
Okay, so just to recap, your predictions are under 2.5 goals, Tom Cannon to score anytime in a draw. Those are some pretty bold predictions, especially considering where Sheffield Wednesday are in the table.
Yeah, they are bold.
Yeah.
But I think, that they're based on a really thorough analysis of both teams. We've looked at the stats, their recent form, their head-to-head history. We're confident in our predictions.
And for our listeners who want to really dig into the numbers and, all the tactical analysis, where can they find more info?
All the details are in our in-depth article over at therealfl.co.uk. We break down the match. We explain the reasoning behind our predictions. It's all there.
Awesome. So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one key takeaway you want our listeners to remember going into this match?
Don't just look at the league table. This match is far from a foregone conclusion. It's a clash of styles, a real battle of wills. And at the end of the day, it could go either way.
Absolutely. This is a championship clash that has it all. Intrigue, tactical battles, and maybe even a few surprises along the way. So to all our listeners out there, make sure you tune in. You never know, we might just see one of those moments of brilliance that defies all predictions. That's the magic of football, isn't it?
It certainly is.